So let's move on to SHM. Okay, and SHM, see, quite a few questions which have come in the past are based on SHM equation. We'll just go through some of the basic things and formula we need to know in case of SHM. This, I think you're all familiar. This is SHM equation, and we know this is amplitude. This is called angular frequency. Whole thing is phase, and this is phase constant. We know all these values. And let's understand some more terms related to SHM. When we talk, SHM motion has to have a mean position. It oscillates about mean position. Mean position is where net force is zero, and that's the position of stable equilibrium. So what does mean position mean? If you give a displacement, net force becomes opposite to displacement and proportional to displacement. We call something as amplitude. Amplitude is displacement from mean position, maximum displacement from mean position. To a point, velocity becomes zero. Amplitude, when it is extreme point, that's the only point where velocity is zero. And velocity as a function of displacement from mean position, this expression for velocity at a distance x from the mean position. And from here, we can easily notice velocity is maximum when x is zero. When mean position, velocity is zero, omega a. And in terms of force and acceleration, what kind of force gives rise to SHM motion? This has to be nature of force. What you notice here, force is proportional, force is equal to minus kx type. It means if we give this point force is zero, in this position of equilibrium, if we are displaced towards right, force is negative, it becomes a restoring force. So acceleration is proportional to, and this equation we use very often, is equal to minus omega square x, and acceleration is maximum and x is maximum, which is amplitude. And when we look at this figure also, so this is how force and x has to be related. Then only it can result in SHM motion. But sometimes figure can be drawn like this also. So when figure is drawn like this, is nothing but translation of axis. Here this becomes my mean position. And this is x naught, x is equal to x naught is main position. And whenever such thing is given, I can even shift the origin here to x naught. Okay. So both cases, as long as force is having kind of relationship between force and x is linear and negative slope, it will always give rise to SHM motion. And in terms of potential energy, the shape is parabolic. And this is parabolic if we assume potential energy at mean position to be zero. If we take it non-zero, what will happen? Axis will shift up or down. X-axis will shift up or down. This is when potential energy is, normally we assume potential energy to be zero at mean position, and it is parabolic. And what is the red line I have drawn? And if we give total energy here, if this is a total energy, we can give different amount of total energy. If we given total energy here, so at this point, if this is the amount of total energy given, particle will oscillate between this point and this point. So at extreme position, so this point here, kinetic energy becomes zero. And what is this point here? This is the total energy, and it will oscillate between minus A and A. So, and when it comes to mean position, you notice here. So this part is anywhere in between. At certain point here, this is potential energy, and this point remaining will be kinetic energy. You understand here? So total energy, so amplitude of oscillation depends on how much total energy is given to a particle. If total energy given is 1/4, amplitude becomes half, because total energy varies as a square of amplitude. And if we look at three parameters, and this is the displacement, position of a particle undergoing SHM. This will vary as a sine function. And if I look at this from here, we have displacement from up 0 to t/2 positive, t/2 to negative and all. And if you look at velocity, velocity here, here what we notice here, if this is how, what is velocity? Velocity is nothing but slope of this curve here. So slope of the curve here, it becomes zero, here slope becomes negative. So the velocity t function will be like this. It's nothing but slope of this curve. And dv by dt, slope of this curve becomes acceleration. And we notice here x and acceleration. Displacement and acceleration, they are out of phase. There is a phase difference of 180 degrees between displacement and acceleration. Okay, and another thing important is to understand SHM equation or SHM motion in terms of its projection on a diameter or projection on a line. Typically what we do, and projection of a uniform circular motion on a straight line, typically we take projection on the y-axis. That's what we have done so far, and it can be represented as a phasor. So phasor, we talk about what is the phase angle here. So if this is a circle and we are taking projection on the y-axis, and so far our normal convention is we measure a phase angle from positive x-axis, this direction positive. And which are the important phase angles in this center? This important phase angles are pi by 4. So when the phase is pi by 4, its position is a by 2, half the amplitude. When phase is pi by 4, it becomes a by root 2, pi by 3 becomes root 3 by 2, and so on and so forth. So this is something, so these are important points in terms of phasor. And the same thing, this is what if I take its projection, its position will come in the y-axis. But if I look from here, if I turn the whole thing here, if I represent all projection on a line, this is how the particle will move on a line. This is corresponding to time t is equal to 0, 0 phase. And when the phase is pi by 6 plus a by 2, pi by 4, pi by 3, pi by 2, and that's how phase will change. So this is what does this represent, indicate here. So if I look on the reference circle, I can call this as first quadrant when the phase is between 0 to 90, second quadrant. So in first quadrant, particle is moving away from mean position, it reaches the extreme point. What happens in the second quadrant when the phase angle is between 90 to 180? It is the displacement is still positive and due to positive displacement, but moving towards mean position. When it's moving like this, just imagine a particle is moving like this. It is coming, its y coordinate is decreasing, is coming to the origin. In Q3, displacement is negative. It is in the lower half. The entire region is displacement is negative. And when it is moving in Q3, which is third quadrant, 180 to 270 degree, it is moving away from the origin towards the negative axis. And I can represent something like this. So first quadrant of reference circle, motion is like this, mean position to extreme. So displacement is positive, velocity is away from the mean position. Q2 is like this. Q2 start moving towards mean position. And displacement is still positive, velocity is negative. This is Q3, and this is Q4. And this is the whole oscillation. This is whole oscillation, one complete circle represents whole oscillation. And we should, if we understand phasor, some of the questions can much easily be solved using phasor. And anyway, we have, by now you know, phasor is something which is useful in multiple topics. And we should understand phasor. And any motion, see, whenever I see a particle here is motion, I should be able to convert into what is the phase angle it corresponds to. Or if phase angle is given, I should immediately, my mind should relate it to how, where this particle position and direction of motion will be on a straight line. So conversion of phase angle into motion and back, those things should be clear. And in terms of theory part, other thing what comes into equation is a SHM equation, energy of SHM equation. Total energy is constant. So when total energy is constant and total energy is sum of potential energy plus kinetic energy. So we can also say that total energy is also equal to potential energy when kinetic energy is 0. So total energy, three ways I can define. Total energy is sum of potential energy plus kinetic energy is equal to maximum potential energy, that is kinetic energy is 0, or it is also equal to maximum kinetic energy when potential energy is 0. All three things relate to total energy of SHM motion. So if I write, suppose let's take potential energy, and for different phase, if I have to write, these are the important phase angles we have mentioned earlier also. If total energy is T, if total energy is T, when the particle is at the extreme point, at that point, kinetic energy is 0, potential energy is T. So I can write this is total energy, at this point kinetic energy is 0, and displacement is A. Here displacement, see the total potential energy is proportional to, what is potential energy? Potential energy is proportional to x square. So when it becomes root 3 by 2, potential energy becomes equal to 3/4 of T. So whatever total energy had at amplitude of A, when amplitude becomes, when its position becomes root 3 by 2, the potential energy becomes root 5 by 2 T, 3/4 of the total energy. If this is 3/4, what is kinetic energy? 1/4. Similarly, when it becomes A by root 2, when I square it, it becomes half. So total energy, potential energy, half of the total energy. If this is half, remaining half is kinetic energy. So when it is A by 2, it is potential energy becomes 1/4 of the total energy, and 3/4 is the kinetic energy. And when it comes to more mean position here, total energy is 0, and this is how to value. So what we notice at different points, how is the energy shared at important points here? Energy shared is in ratio 1:3, 1:1, 3:1, and 1:0. That's how energy gets shared at different phase angles at different positions. And this is something, it is valid not only A by 2, it is valid for this case. So A by 2, when it's going away, even then also ratio of potential energy and kinetic energy will be similar. When again it is passing through, that also will be similar. Even at minus A by 2 also, since energy terms are related to square, this point and this point, potential energy, kinetic energy, both will be same, these 2 points. Let's look at some simple questions, all these questions. So that's a basic theory part. Let's look at the simple application. Majority of it, initial questions are simple application of basic formula, basic equation. Let's see one by one. Find average velocity in the interval it moves from equilibrium position to half its amplitude. So if I visualize in motion, when do we have to calculate? Time period is given, amplitude is given. I need to find average velocity between which 2 points. From this is my 1 point here, and which is the second point, A by 2. In between, what is the average velocity? In terms of time period is given, A is given. Okay. So whenever we look at this, all such question, we can solve. What is the change in phase as it moves from here to here? Here the phase was 0. Here phase is pi by 6. When it moves from position 0 to A by 2, phase has changed from 0 degree to pi by 6. So change in phase is pi by 6. How much time it will take for change of phase pi by 6? In time t, phase changes by 2 pi. So that's omega. Omega is equal to 2 pi by t. So time taken for this change of phase will be equal to pi by 6 into omega value, which is nothing but 2 pi by t. That's the time taken, and much easy we can understand. One full circle, it takes time capital T. This is 1/12 of the circle. It will take time t by 12. So time taken is t by 12. T is given a half a second. So time taken to move from this position to A by 2 is 1 by 24 seconds. Average speed displacement is A by 2. 0.5, and that's how we find average velocity. So whenever such motion from one position to other position is involved, what is the time it will take to move from something like A by 2 to root 3A by 2? The time taken we can much easily we can calculate by first calculating what is the change in phase. Change in phase is much easier way of finding time for particle to move from one particular position to something else. Okay, these are simple application of equation. There are more mathematics oriented question. A particle executes simple harmonic motion. It's located at x is equal to A, B, C for 3 different locations. It is located at 3 different times. T0, 2T0, and 3T0. Its positions are given. What we need to do, we need to find frequency of oscillation. These are all past mains questions. How do we find frequency of oscillation? Nothing but just use our basic equation of SHM. What is SHM equation? This is SHM equation. 3 bits of information are given. So we'll get those 3 equations. For 3 equations, we just substitute. 2 things are changing. As the time changes, what will happen? Corresponding x is changing. Rest of the things are not changing here. We just substituted this value. First equation, second equation, third equation. And what we need to find here, we clearly notice from here, we need to find the value of omega. And once we find omega, we can also find frequency, which is 2 pi omega. Okay, we divide by 2 pi. So how do you find that value? Basically, the answer should not have this A value and phi value. How do we eliminate those terms here and T0 value also? So very easily, rest all is simple trigonometry. So if I take sum of these 2 equations, sine C plus sine D, we will get 2 to T0 term here. Basically, use 1 plus 2 to get something similar to second equation, and through process of elimination, we can simply solve. So these are when we see such questions, these are simple substitution in formula and elimination problems. Plus next question, because I have taken quite a few questions which are from recent mains questions. So two particles are performing single harmonic motion on straight line about the same equilibrium position, and amplitude and time period both are same. Both are having same amplitude, same time period, but why they are not at the same point? They are not started at the same time. There is some kind of phase difference between 2 points. Had the phase been same, two particles would have been in the same position at all instants of time. The time t is equal to 0, so one particle has displacement a, while other one has a displacement of minus a by 2, and they are moving towards each other. They are moving towards each other. How do we solve such question? There are two ways of solving this question. One, I tried to substitute in formula. In formula, what will happen here? Not only displacement, I have to take care of velocity, and they're moving towards each other. It becomes a little more messy. It takes more time. Such questions are ideally suited for solving using phasor diagram. So can we place where these two particles are at time t is equal to 0 on phasor diagram or in reference circle? So if I draw a circle, can I mark the position of two particles? One of them is pretty simple, plus A. So if this is circle, this particle I can easily mark here. Because this is my pen, this is the axis here. So this is plus A, this is minus A, this is 0, 0 position. And in between this will be plus A by 2, minus A by 2. And at this point, his angle is pi by 2 and A. What about second one? The second one has a displacement of minus A by 2. So minus A by 2 from here. So this point from here, this has to be lower. This is minus A by 2. But when I look at minus A by 2, there are two positions on the reference circle which are at minus A by 2. This position and this position. Out of these two, and these two will have different angles. If I look at the phase angle, this is 90 degree. If I take this particular point here, if it is A by 2, this angle is 30. This phase will be 150, whereas if I take this phase here, this phase will be equal to 330. So out of which two, which one suits this condition? So how do you find what is the phase of the second particle? See, at A by 2, at a distance of A by 2, there are actually 4 phase angles possible at a distance of A by 2. There are 4 angles possible, 30, 150, 210, and 330. Since it is minus, these two are out. Okay, so it is 210 or 330. How do you figure it out? If it is 210, particle will be moving away from the mean position, and here the particle is moving towards the mean position. And this also moving towards the mean position. Since it is given, they are moving towards each other. It means which is the right phase of the second particle towards mean position. So this is the correct angle. Okay, so this angle either I can write 330 or I can write as minus pi by 6. So this is how two particles are, and since both have the same time period, the phase difference between them will remain constant. What is the phase difference? And okay, at this time, can you find what is the phase difference between the two? Phase difference between two is 90 plus 20, 90 plus 30, which is 120 degree. So phase difference between them will always remain 120. So what is the condition for them to cross? Condition for them to cross is y coordinate has to be same. I'll start moving here. See, this is something, it is moving like this. Its y coordinate is decreasing and its y coordinate is increasing. So what happened? They have to cross here. Actually, we are taking the projection. So they cross each other when y coordinates are equal. And what has to happen for y coordinate to be equal? If y coordinates are equal, if one of them has a phase angle of theta, other one has to have an angle of 180 minus theta. So condition for them to cross, if one has a phase angle of theta, other one has to have minus theta, then only they'll be in the same position. And second condition is phase difference has to remain 120. So one of them has a phase of 80, other has a phase of minus theta. Difference between two is 120. What is difference between two? Pi minus theta and minus theta has to be equal to 120 degree. So what is value of theta we get here? So theta is something you can visualize from here also. So if theta comes equal to pi by 6, when it reaches from minus pi by 6, it reaches a position of plus pi by 6. In the same time period, this also will have a change of it reaches to pi by 2 plus pi by 6. So both are at the same position. So how much time the particle will take? That's the point where they will cross each other. So what is the time it will this particle q will take to move to this point q dash? How do we calculate time? What is the change in phase angle here? We calculate time in terms of change in phase angle. Change in phase angle is 2 into pi by 6, which is pi by 3. And time taken for change of phase of pi by 3 is 60 degree. So 60 degree time taken is t by 6. They will cross each other after time t by 6. Okay, this question is simple application of basic formula. What is given here? Particle moves with simple harmonic motion in a straight line. Good. Simple harmonic motion, linear such a motion. In first tau second after starting from rest. So where is tau measured from? After starting from rest. When does it start from rest? Either positive extreme or negative extreme. That's only 2 point which is at rest. Let's assume here start from positive extreme. Same answer we could have solved from negative extreme also, starting from rest. So this is the starting point. This is where it starts from. And it travels after starting from it travels a distance a in time t. So what is given here? This distance from here to here in time tau, it travels a distance a. In next tau second, it travels 2a in the same direction. From here, next tau means total time becomes equal to 2 tau. I have taken, but start time t is equal to 0. So t is equal to 0, it is positive a. And this is t is equal to tau. And t is equal to 2 tau, it travels a further distance of 2a. Between these two distance, this distance is equal to 2a. Or from initial point, total distance traveled is 3a. This information given. It is something similar to one of the previous questions. Yes?
Sir, is there any reason why we're assuming that this point is beyond the mean position? Or
no, I am not. This something is just drawn, but actually I'm not assuming anything. Okay, so it's just drawn, but basically just assume that mean this figure I'm not going to use. It is just randomly drawn. It can be other side also.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at that. Maybe just a simple substitution, and then I will come to later how we can solve using phasor also. So at time t is equal to 0 when it is rest. So when t is equal to 0, now what? So first of all, I need to write the equation. If I have to substitute in such an equation, let me write the equation first. In this particular case, equation motion is equal to a sine omega t plus phi. Since time t is equal to 0, it is at pi by 2 angle. Its initial phase here or phase constant in this particular case is pi by 2. If I assume the starting point to be here. So first information, this is what? So basically equation of SHM motion, if I take time t is equal to 0, becomes a cos omega t. Now let's all I substitute here. So one if this, then I can find out this coordinate here, this position also. I can find out this position also by substituting value of t here. So x at time tau is equal to a cos omega tau, and x position at time 2 tau is equal to a cos omega 2 tau. These are the two values given. Now let me use this information here. Okay, so what is displacement in time 2? What is the condition given here? What is a equal to? See, a is equal to initial, either magnitude, it is initial position, extreme position. Displacement is equal to, I have taken initial position minus final position, magnitude. So it is initial position at t is equal to 0, and position at t is equal to a cos omega t. This is a. And what I have taken, the displacement, the total I have taken from t is equal to 0. What is displacement in time? 2 tau. Displacement in time 2 tau is equal to 3a. This is also initial position minus final position. So these are two equations I formed based on the equation given. Rest all is simple. Once you form this equation, we can easily solve for value of tau. You can get an answer. We'll eliminate a and we get an answer. What is the time period? We get the value of omega here. What is the other way I could have solved? You could have also solved, see this is where this is time t is equal to 0. And as it moves, it will pass through different phases. And since the two ratio, what are the displacement are, if you look at, let's see basically different important positions are three important positions. What are three important positions? Root 3a by 2. Then comes a by root 2. And then comes a, and then comes 0. Since these two ratio two distances are in a round figure, I can guess here it cannot be, see, in tau, either to be this point, this point, this point. So which one, since the ratio is a round number, let me see, is it this point here? If I have to at all guess, I'll say that in tau, it has moved from this position to this position. Or if it has moved to this position in time tau, it had a, what is the angular displacement of phase difference here? Phase difference is 60. In another tau depth, what will happen? Again, it will undergo phase difference of phase difference is 60. So does it matches with the information given here? In 60 degree, what is the displacement it had? It had moved from a to a by 2. And next tau, it has moved from a by 2 to minus a by 2. So this period here, this displacement was equal to a by 2 in time tau. and this displacement is A, which meets my condition here. So this way, if I use phasor and looking at the options, I could have, based on what you may call as intelligent guess, I could have solved this question very quickly. Now coming to some question, there's some question which have come, which is a combination of SHM motion happening in both the direction. So there's a particle which is subjected to SHM motion in X direction as well as Y direction, mutually perpendicular directions. Okay. So and all cases, okay. So if it is mutually perpendicular direction, so this equation itself indicate in X direction also its coordinate is changing its sign function. Y coordinate also is changing its sign function. So the question was given like this, and whenever it has such combination, how would particle move? How do we find trajectory of the particle? What is the method of finding trajectory? Whenever it is given as a parameter t, to find trajectory, I have to eliminate t to find the equation between x and y. That's how we find trajectory. And depending on what the relationship between x and y I get, it will have different shape. So, and those different shapes are called Lisov figure. So, Lisov figure is something not given in the most of the books. This is something, without knowing what the Lisov figure is, easily this question could have been solved. Let's see what was given in the question here. Different combination was given. So A is equal to B. A is equal to B means both have same time period, and delta is equal to 0, both are in the same phase. So let's see how do we solve. I can solve mathematically, but apart from mathematically, each one you can get equation, you can find this, you can easily eliminate and get equation. So that is not a problem. Mathematically you can solve. But let me also understand how do I visualize this kind of motion. The particle is having SHM motion along x-axis with amplitude of A. So its motion is its x coordinate is confined between these two vertical lines. And if amplitude on y-axis along y direction is B, so if I draw two horizontal lines, plus B and minus B, that gives the boundary of motion. So if a particle having motion given by these two equations, it will lie within this rectangle. Okay. Now, if I look at this rectangle, and let me think, in which condition will the particle pass through origin? It will pass through origin. To pass through origin, what has to happen? X and Y have to become 0 at the same time. So that would happen if both will come to the mean position at the same time. Either the phase difference has to be 0 or phase difference has to be 180 degree. Then only it will pass through origin. Let me understand, will this particle reach this point? In which condition the particle will ever reach coordinate A0? See, if the particle is at A0, it means at this particular instance, I'm taking the case when omega is same, angular frequency. So if the particle is here, means is phase along x-axis. Along x-axis phase is pi by 2. And along y-axis phase is either 0 or pi. So it will reach this point only when the phase difference is pi by 2. It will reach this point only when the phase difference is pi by 2. So this kind of curve. So we can just visualize, I'm just explaining so that any variation of question you can visualize as well. Which condition would it ever reach this point here? This point is, they will reach, this point it will reach if x coordinate also it reaches amplitude, y direction reaches amplitude at the same time. It will touch this point only when they oscillate in the same phase. Phase difference is 0. So you understand what kind of motion will happen. So if phase difference between 0, actually its motion will be like a straight line. And if phase difference is 90 degrees, motion will be something like this. And this you can even arrive at based on solving this equation. They are very easy equation to solve in terms of trajectory. Trajectory is nothing but locus, what you do in mathematics. So lie within the boundaries and try to understand also what I mentioned. So this is something more like a visualization, what will happen, and try to relate when would have this kind of motion and what would make it to have this kind of motion. Okay, let's move on to some more question on a spring mass system. The spring mass system, I think this is also important type of variation of SHM equation. So in this case, what is given? Two small masses, two masses M and M are placed on the top of a vertical spring. Very small masses. You can, though it is not like this, you can take both like a point. And they're now joined together. Basically, just placed on top of each other. They're not glued together. So from position of rest, initially this is position of rest. Position of rest means both the masses in state of equilibrium. It basically means it's already compressed. And what is the compression here? In state of rest here, it means a spring of applied force of 2 mg. So from mean position, from basically elongated position of the spring, if this is unelongated length of the spring, it is already compressed by a distance equal to 2 mg by k, which is not so relevant. Okay, it is compressed like this. Okay, now what is the from position of rest? The spring was first further by a distance a. From here, this is my mean position, x is equal to 0. From here, we further compress it by a distance. We further compress by distance a and release it. And when we release it, since this is the mean position, and moment we release from compression of a, at this point velocity is 0. Release means at the time velocity is 0. This becomes extreme position, this becomes mean position. It will start oscillating. How would it oscillate? It will oscillate about this mean position. This kind of oscillation will happen. Okay, by chance this is looking equal, ignore that part. It will start oscillating about the mean position. So that's how we should understand here. Now let's look at what the question is. Now find the angular frequency of oscillation if two particles move together. That's a very simple question to answer. As in for the company equilibrium, amplitude of SHM will be A. That point we need to understand. If you compress from mean position with distance A, amplitude of oscillation is A here. And angular frequency of mass connected to spring is K by M. Since the mass is 2M, that's the angular frequency. That is easy directive formula. Now question comes here now. As it oscillates, there is a contact force acting between two masses here. The question is, what is minimum and maximum contact force between two particles? And this contact force, if we see, is something like this. What is the contact force? Like a normal reaction. So contact force, if I look at the top block, contact force exerted on the top block is like normal reaction, which is like weight. And that will be equal to G plus A naught. That will be the contact force. And that is something I think you should easily understand, LOM. So this will be the contact force. The contact force will depend on acceleration. And since it is accelerating, acceleration is continuously changing, contact force also will keep on changing. So we understand. So maximum acceleration here. So what is the maximum variation in contact force? Maximum variation is when acceleration is maximum. That's the time when acceleration is maximum. It is plus minus E naught. That's the contact force. So maximum acceleration is, we know it's omega square A. And this is maximum acceleration. So at the lowest point, directional acceleration is upwards. At the highest point, directional acceleration is downwards. And in between, when it's passing the mean point, acceleration is 0. Okay. So if we calculate the normal reaction using this method here, the normal reaction will vary within this range. Normal reaction between two blocks, this is the range, G plus minus maximum acceleration. And we have calculated maximum acceleration omega square A. Omega value, this is what we calculated. So this is the normal reaction. So when would it be plus? It would be plus when acceleration is in the upward direction. At this point, it will be value will be maximum. And when would normal reaction be minimum? When it is moving, acceleration is downward. Acceleration downwards at the upper extreme point. So upper and lower extreme point, the contact force will be maxima and minima. This point will be maximum because acceleration in upward direction. This point contact force is minimum. So we have found what is the minimum and maximum contact force. Now, what we notice here, see the contact force maximum, it can be any value, but it cannot become negative. Maybe it cannot become negative because they are not glued together. If they are connected to each other, they bond to each other, lower object can apply pulling force. So this value minimum has to be at least equal to 0. The moment it becomes 0, it means these two blocks lose contact. Whenever two objects lose contact, what is the condition? Contact force becomes 0. So when this value becomes 0, that's a time when it loses contact. Separation. And when would the separation happen? Two ways we can understand separation. One way you can understand, the normal reaction becomes 0, or the separation will happen when the lower block has a downward acceleration greater than g. Anything object, if it has greater than g, this object, if it is not connected here, cannot have acceleration greater than g. Thus the separation will happen. So two ways you can understand here. Either I can write if the acceleration, if this term omega square a is greater than equal to g, or when n is equal to 0. Both leads to this condition. If amplitude is greater than equal to 2 mg by k, separation will take place. Okay. And this is something you can understand from the figure also. That's the condition. Okay. Now coming to some question, how do you find time period of SHM motion and method of finding time period based on the information given in the figure? Method is almost same for all questions. What is the method we use to find time period? Time period is based on this condition. Ax is equal to minus omega square x, or fx is equal to minus omega square x. So what is x here? X is displacement from the mean position. So any question where we have to find something like either omega or time period, first we need to find the mean position, which position it is in equilibrium. From mean position, if we give a displacement x here, corresponding to displacement, what is the value of fx? If we can find fx or a displacement x, using this equation, we can find omega. Let's do in one case here. So this case is a little tricky, but this is also we see how easily it can be solved. For this question also, let's look at the mean position. What is mean position? So this is spring here, the pulley here, mass m is suspended, and let's see it is in the mean position. Mean position, it is in the state of equilibrium. So if it is in the state of equilibrium, let's see, we have to find what is the time period of mass. So here this mass is in equilibrium, and if we put it down and release it, it will start oscillating. And if this is a mean position, as similar to previous question, if I pull it down by 5 centimeter, it will have oscillation of amplitude of 5 centimeter on either side of the mean position. Okay, so let's find how do we find the time period. So let's see when the spring is displaced by, this is initial position, equilibrium position. In equilibrium position, of course, the tension will be equal to mg. And if the tension is mg, this force will be equal to 2 mg. And hence, extension of the spring also, what is the extension of the spring? And in mean position, extension of the spring will be equal to 2 mg by k. These are the forces acting. When this force is acting, this is what is happening. But when it displaces, what will happen? The force will change. The force, see, there are two forces acting in the mass, tension and mg. Mg won't change. When it displaces, what will happen? The tension will change. Why would tension change? Because spring will get elongated. When the spring gets elongated, force in the spring changes. Whatever force in the spring, tension has become half of that, and that's why the tension changes. And that's why it will give rise to net force. Let's see how do we calculate net force. I have drawn another figure here. That's a figure. This was the equilibrium position. From equilibrium position, I have given an arbitrary displacement of x here. This is the displacement given here. Now I need to find what is the force acting here. Force acting here has to be equal to mg plus fx. Is it not? That's why it's then it will come back there. So tension now will become mg plus fx. I have to calculate what is this additional tension which will develop when I displace. Mg will remain. I am not bothered about mg. Mg was there in the equilibrium position. This force has to become more. So what is for corresponding to displacement of x? What is the extra force will develop? That's what I want to calculate here. Let's see how do we calculate that part. So in this case, what will happen? If I displace by x here, the pulley also will get displaced by x by 2. We had done that earlier. You know, that displacement of the pulley is average of the two ends, and velocity of the pulley average of the two velocity. Only when it is getting displaced, so displacement of pulley is equal to x by 2. If pulley get displaced by x by 2, spring also get elongated by further by x by 2. So now what is the elongation? Earlier this was the force acting. Now it gets elongated further by x by 2. What will be the spring force? The spring force will increase by k times x by 2. The spring force will increase by how much? It is getting elongated by x by 2. And every elongation, there is a proportionate k times force will act. So spring force will become equal to 2 mg, which was earlier here, plus kx by 2. If this is spring force, now spring force has changed. So downward motion led to pulley displacement. Pulley displacement leads to elongation of the spring. Elongation of the spring leads to additional force in the spring. And additional force in the spring means additional tension in the string also. What is the tension in the string? Tension in the string, half of this. So tension in the string becomes like this. So what is the net force acting in the block? Minus mg, net force becomes kx by 4. So when I displace by downward displacement of x, net force becomes upward opposite direction minus kx by 4. Once I have found force as a function of x, I equate fx to minus m omega square x, minus m omega square x, and x gets cancelled, I get the value of omega. And omega comes equal to k by 4m, or you can say here, this whole arrangement, it is equivalent to a spring constant of k by 4. And if you, yes?
Sir, I didn't understand what we mean by spring is displaced by x.
Okay.
No, sir, I got it clear.
Got it absolutely clear? Because
Yes,
we cannot do multiple questions. We don't have time. See, basically, I would have liked to spend maybe 10 minutes more. But if I do so, what happens when you miss out so many other things? Revision, you have to maintain certain speed and time has to follow. Okay, let's move on to next one. And anybody has difficulty, just go through that again, and maybe you can see in the next work session also. A mass m is oscillating in a smooth horizontal surface, amplitude a. So if this is the unelongated length of the spring, this is L0 here, and it is oscillating with amplitude a, means it's oscillating like this. This is amplitude a, it is oscillating. And this kind of questions are also common. What in this questions, the parameters of SSM changes. Let's see what are the ways we can change parameters of SSM. So when it is oscillating like this mass is m, we can add some more mass here. How do we add some more mass? Just imagine if I have a blob of wax. Why I'm talking wax here? If you drop wax here, wax will go immediately stick to the mass here. The reason it sticks, it has high coefficient of friction or very high adhesion. So immediately it will go and stick to the mass here. So when a blob of wax or mass m is dropped on the blob, it sticks to the mass almost immediately. Even though it is not mentioned, you have to assume it sticks immediately. If we drop, what will happen if we drop here? The energy of oscillation may change, time period of oscillation may change, amplitude of oscillation will change. So basically, the moment we change the mass here, parameters of oscillation will change. Let's try and understand in 3 different cases. Let's try and understand here. So when is the mass not find the new amplitude of oscillation? Time period is simple. I'll come to time period last. So if the blob of wax was dropped, here first case, A case is dropped when it is passing through mean position. How do we solve? What will happen if I add another mass m? Or we could have also mentioned another mass m is placed, which sticks to original m immediately. If the blob is dropped, so basically, what is the kinetic energy the blob had before it gets contact with the mass here? Its kinetic energy, even it is not mentioned, you have to assume that blob is dropped means its initial kinetic energy is 0. So blob is dropped with 0 kinetic energy. And when it goes and sticks to this mass here, during this small time interval, spring force is anyway not acting, and anyway also during this time interval, it will stick this mass immediately only when the coefficient of friction is large or adhesion is large. So momentum is conserved. It is like this. When it sticks to this, it is like a inelastic collision. Whenever two objects acquire a common velocity, principally it is similar to inelastic collision. They stick together. And elastic collision also happens because sticking property. So momentum in x direction will remain conserved. So just before it is dropped, only mass m was moving with velocity v. And whenever equal mass is dropped, velocity becomes half. And I will not prove that again. But if the block had a kinetic energy k, when two of them mass becomes 2m and velocity becomes half, kinetic energy also becomes half. Kinetic energy becomes half when mass becomes double. In inelastic collision, if mass becomes triple, it becomes 1/3 and so on. Everybody easily can arrive at. So when mass is double, the final kinetic energy becomes half of the initial kinetic energy. That's how I should interpret. I can solve a long mathematical equation, which is not the way to solve such question. So what we understood here, if a blob is dropped, soon after it is dropped, it becomes like 2m. And moment it becomes 2m, it has a common velocity. Velocity becomes half of initial velocity. And velocity becomes, kinetic energy becomes half. So if kinetic energy becomes half, its amplitude depends on total energy. Kinetic energy has become half. Let's try and think what happened to my total energy. Okay. At mean position, total energy itself is equal to kinetic energy. So if kinetic energy has become half, it is equivalent to saying the total energy has become half. So as soon as I drop here, total energy becomes half, and amplitude, total energy is proportional to square of the amplitude. Hence, A dash by A will be equal to initial. So kinetic energy, total energy becomes half, amplitude becomes equal to A by root. It will become 1 by root 2 times of initial amplitude. Is proportional to from this equation. It remains same. Second type of question, this was a little easier. Little more complicated could be, yeah, this also, okay, this kind of questions have come. I think a couple of times this question have come. If a blob of wax was dropped, not when it was the mean position. Mean position, what is the advantage here? There was no potential energy, entire thing was a kinetic energy. It was dropped at A by 2. So it was dropped not in the mean position when it was passing through point A by 2. So again, at that time, the velocity is not Vmax, velocity is something else. So here also what will happen, but whenever it gets dropped, what we should understand when it sticks together, whatever kinetic energy it had that instance, the kinetic energy after it sticks together becomes half of that energy. So when x is equal to A by 2, if the total energy is TE, we remember what is A by 2, potential energy is 1/4 of total energy, kinetic energy is 3/4 of the total energy. So after wax is dropped, what will be the new total energy? After wax is dropped, potential energy will not change. That will remain total energy by 4, initial total energy by 4. Kinetic energy becomes 3T by 8. It will become half of it. So new total energy becomes so much. So new total energy has become 5 by 8 times of total energy before that. Hence, new amplitude becomes root of 5 by 10 times of A. Okay, total energy proportional to amplitude. And what will happen if we drop at the extreme position? If we drop at the extreme position, the blob is dropped at the extreme position. What will happen in that case? Total energy will not change, because I like in that case, velocity of the block itself was 0. If we draw another block with 0 velocity also, no loss of kinetic energy, no loss of total energy. In that case, amplitude remains same, but all three cases, angular frequency will change. So moment angular frequency omega is equal to root k by m. Moment we add this blob here, mass becomes 2m. It will start after normal, it will take more time to complete this oscillation. The angular frequency in all three cases will change. So assume that all are truthful and all have understood. Okay, so we can solve this question. So let's come to one more question on finding time period of SHM motion. What is this question given here? I will do in a general way this question, a cylindrical plastic bottle. And this kind of thing you can easily visualize and you can easily do at home also. If you take any cylindrical object, which is lighter, which has not very heavy one. If you have metal one, this thing, it is filled with water, some quantity, a cylindrical plastic bottle of water. So there's a water tank here. You take a water tank and this bottle here, it is filled with some volume of water. So it doesn't matter. So basically it has certain weight here. Is floating in the pond with still water. It is floating like this. Okay. And from this floating position, if I take this bottom position, if I take this is my main position, x is equal to 0. If I press it down by distance x here, it will start oscillating with amplitude of x about the mean position. So if I have to find time period of oscillation, when I press it down by distance x, I have to find out what is the net upward force start acting as a function of x. If I find this fx when the bottle is pressed by distance x, fx is equal to minus m omega square x, I can find value of omega. So all I need to do, similar to previous case also, if I give a small displacement x, what is the net force acting? So before that, let's see. In previous case also you see, here also why is it floating? Two forces are acting. What are two forces acting? Weight is acting and force of buoyancy is acting. Force of buoyancy has to be equal to weight. And what is force of buoyancy? Force of buoyancy is nothing but equal to weight of the liquid displaced. And weight of the liquid displaced will be equal to, if I write, if that is a cross-section area of A, and let's see if this is depth of submersion, I can say rho into L into volume. Volume will be area of cross-section into H into T. So this is force of buoyancy, which was acting earlier, which is not so relevant. Now, if I press it down, What are forces acting? Now forces acting here is still, it is still same, no change in weight. Now force of buoyancy, there are two parts. So the force of buoyancy, this part was already acting. What has happened? Now it has displaced extra quantity of water. This and this will cancel out each other. So what is the net force acting? Net force acting is equal to weight of extra volume of liquid displaced. So what is Fx here? Fx is equal to weight of extra volume of liquid displaced. If we understand that part is Eg, net force when displaced from the mean position. Weight of extra volume of liquid displaced. How much will be extra weight of extra volume will be displaced? Sorry, I missed one term G here. Make sure that G is added here. So what is weight? Weight will be equal to density into volume into G. Density, volume will be equal to A into X, area of cross section into X, into G, that has to be equal to minus m omega square X. Once we have this value, we can find omega. So is the every information given here? All the information is given, we can easily solve. And suppose we change this question, we take more general form. The moment we have this, moment we find Fx, this equation gives you X gets cancelled, you get the value of omega. If more general terms, if a cube of side L of density rho is floating in the liquid of density rho, liquid density has to be more, then only it will float. What will be omega value if it is displaced vertically? If I have to solve this question also similar way, what would Fx be here? Fx will be equal to minus density of the liquid. Density of the liquid is 2 rho. Okay, sorry, a G term here also missed out. And area of cross section becomes L square. X becomes the extra depth it has been displaced. Into G is equal to minus of M. What will mass, which mass do we take here? Mass of the object which is undergoing SHM. Mass of the cube here, rho into L cube into omega square into X. So that's how we form equation, and we can find the omega value of SHM. Okay, so I'll stop here.